Dr. Nuesse from EasyDOTphysicals.com, back again with another video, another update video. Again, I promised, especially leading up to this election, that whenever either one of the candidates, whenever either party spoke about marijuana legalization or reform, I would make an update video. I get this information, the article actually posted in Marijuana Moment. I get a lot of information from them, so I will give you the highlights from the article because I think a couple things are interesting, a few things are interesting, but feel free to go to marijuanamoment.net to read the article in full. The article is Kamala Harris rolls out national marijuana legalization plan, pledging to make it, quote, the law of the land. And again, I'll give you the highlights, what I gleaned as most important from this article. So Vice President Kamala Harris is pledging to federally legalize marijuana, ensuring that access to cannabis is, quote, law of the land. If elected, she will, quote, break down unjust legal barriers that hold Black men and other Americans back by legalizing marijuana nationally, working with Congress to ensure that safe cultivation, distribution, and possession of recreational marijuana is the law of the land, end quote. So again, this is a little bit more information as far as a plan goes. Again, there's not a lot of information here, but it does say possession of recreational marijuana. So up until this point, we didn't really know from her side what legalization meant. Did it mean the rescheduling process that Biden started, again, now years ago? Did it mean full recreational? And this seems to state, or it states, black and white, possession of recreational marijuana is the law of the land. So it seems like Kamala Harris is pushing for full recreational marijuana federally, not just state by state. And then the article goes on, and I thought this was very interesting as well. The Democratic presidential nominee's cannabis plan is part of what her campaign calls an, quote, opportunity agenda aimed at winning the votes of Black men. So they stated specifically, again, it's in quotes here, this opportunity agenda where they're specifically going after Black male voters. And I alluded to this in my last video I made where Kamala Harris was on the All the Smoke podcast, where she was bringing up some racial issues around marijuana arrests and incarceration, but didn't do it directly. Here's a direct statement. And then this article, again, goes on to talk about her being on that podcast and it being part of this attempt to win over Black male voters. Now, we will go down a little bit further in the article, and this is another thing I thought was really interesting, and it pertains to her, the vice presidential nominee, Tim Walz, who will be the vice president if she wins the election. Last month, Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz said he thinks marijuana legalization is an issue that should be left to individual states. Quote, I think it's an issue for the states on some of those, and that's the way the states have done it, end quote. So who does this sound like? So Walz is sounding a lot like what Trump is saying. Trump is saying that this issue should be left to the states. The states should be able to make decisions on marijuana legalization, either recreational or medical, that all of that should be left up to the states. So it doesn't look like Kamala Harris and the vice presidential nominee who she chose, Tim Walz, are really in agreement here as far as how marijuana reform legislation should go. Walz seems to be more in agreement with how Donald Trump sees marijuana reform going. Okay, so again, that article, that full article is on marijuanamoment.net, but those really are the highlights. Stay tuned, stay subscribed to this channel. I will be continuously making update videos whenever something like this happens. Again, leading up to the election and then thereafter, because there is a lot coming with marijuana reform as far as rescheduling goes, saliva testing, all of that. All right.